Hi guys, I am here for a weekend reads since I totally missed the last two Friday reads. Um, Valid if you want to say excuse. I just haven't been reading. It's not there. I don't know what's going on. I have the desire, but when I sit down, it's just undecipherable words on a page. So I think last night I kind of had that inkling that it's almost over. My book slump is almost over, so hopefully I will be better at my Friday reads, and you may see children cycling in and out. That one is William. Phoebe's down here. So, oh, there's Phoebe. We may see some goings on. She likes to harass him. But anyways, that's not why you're here. Yeah, I did finish Dicey's Song by Cynthia Voigt. And it got to the point of, okay, we're done with this. Not done with this. I've read it before. I read it when I was younger and enjoy it. But I was just at that point of I don't want to read it anymore. So I did find the audiobook and finished it that same night. So cute. There are two others. I never read the two in the others in the trilogy, so I may just treat it as a standalone and be fine with that. If I do decide the other two are on Scribd, and I'm sure from my library, so we're okay there. This one I have been carrying around. This is the first and only of the library books that I've even cracked that I borrowed almost 3 weeks ago. So I have a feeling I'm going to take some back unread, which I think that's pretty much the story with most people that use the library is you have at least one you take back. And if you don't, I need your secrets because probably secrets are that you don't bite off more than you can chew and borrow too many. But Sunflower Sisters by Martha Hall Kelly. I am seriously that much through. So it's fine. It's good. It's just, again, the brain capacity, especially after this week, talking all day. I had the best intentions of making a video, but talking all day, having back-to-back meetings until I didn't take lunch until 2 hours before I was supposed to even be done for the day. I had no more willingness to talk. So and if you can tell by my eyes, I'm still trying to get adjusted to the time change. So we'll get there hopefully in another week or so, and I won't look like someone has run me over with their car. I did try to start this one too. And try is very kind to say. I'm on page 24 of Light a Penny Candle. See? Haven't even barely scratched the surface. This one was because of Irish Readathon, which I didn't have any intention of participating in, but I'll try. At least I get it started within the month of March. Not necessarily that I will finish. Again, depends on my mood. And I'm listening to the audio of, I think it's called The Whole Town is Talking. It's by Fannie Flagg, who wrote Fried Green Tomatoes, which is my favorite book. I honestly, it's the Fried Green Tomatoes is my favorite book, but I wouldn't necessarily say that Fannie Flagg is my favorite author because I've probably read maybe only 2 of her others. So it's fine. We're all different, but I borrowed the audiobook. I've probably listened to maybe an hour of it. So that may be my weekend while I'm doing this and that, just kind of turn it on and listen. And I still have not made any progress on, the second Frida McFadden, the sequel to The Housemaid. I haven't started it, even though that was my pick for March Mystery Madness. We still have 2 weeks, and with her, if it's anything like The Housemaid, I will start it and finish it the same day or day after, because her books are, from what I've heard, you cannot put them down, and I can attest to the first one. I haven't started any others. I am notorious for having 90 started, so I haven't started any of my other library books. I haven't dug into anything else, but, and you will understand with the title of this video, that it is a weekly reads, weekly what I have read over the past 2 weeks, and what have I purchased over the past we'll say 4 days. The local used bookstore that I go to, she hasn't started up her fill a bag tent sales yet, but she has a bargain room, and it's pretty sizable. I'm not sure of the square feet, but it's big. I'm not gonna say it's the size of the first floor of my house, but it's pretty deep. There's a lot in there. So hey, I'm opening it to people that are on my email list, $1 per book. We'll leave it open for a couple of days for the people on the email list to be able to get a good selection. And then after that, we'll open it up. But it was the next day she opened it up to the public. So, but even still, there was one other person there when I went the second time. Yeah, second time I went twice. Just because I'll explain. I saw a bunch of large print Harlequins that had a pink spine, and I saw them on the way out. We were in a rush. My husband was like, we gotta go get the pizza. So I kept thinking about them, and we went back, which I didn't end up getting any of them because they have the awful tacky mid-90s photo covers. So it wasn't art. It wasn't even the good kind of photo covers now. They were just like a weird Sears catalog kind of thing. So I just left them there. They had a good large print selection, but neither times did I look through them, and it was just overwhelming with just the amount of books. So I had an intended purpose of why I was going, and I was pretty successful. My husband is amazing when he goes book shopping with me because he knows what I'm looking for, and he'll come and be like, okay, I found these 3, or, look at these and see if these are anything that you want, or come and carry it over. He's found some good books over the years that I've, like the, Tim Dorsey's Surge Storms series. He found the first book, Florida Roadkill, and brought it to me, and I was like, that actually sounds pretty good. And I read it, and I was like, okay. So I have them all. I haven't read them, maybe that's a summer project because they are Florida summer vibes. So we'll maybe start those up when it gets warmer. It's 40 degrees today. We had 70s, 70s, 70s in February and early March, and today and tomorrow we're like 40 degrees. Freeze warnings both nights, and then by Friday we'll be like 75. So Tennessee, it's freezing and pollen at the same time. So I have I'm not even gonna count. I didn't count. There's more than 20 books here, and I was on the lookout for old books, like antique books, which was really sad because I think I'm probably an antique technically in years values, but I'm anything 1940s and earlier. I think I maybe got of the old books, a couple that were after that, but there's some standard ones. Actually, this is the third time we've been in like a week. I forgot. We actually went into the actual bookstore part and I got some. So maybe we'll start with those first. Let's start with those first. These are the ones I actually paid more than $1 for. So the first one I picked it up for a friend because she loves vintage cookbooks, and I didn't know if she had this one. I didn't know if she would respond to me with a text message, so I just went ahead and got it because it was $3. So it's the Betty Crocker's Party Book, more than 500 recipes, menus, and how to do it tips for festive occasions the year round. So it's vintage, it's cute, it's a little first edition, golden press, 1960. She says she does have it. I think she said she does have the one from the first edition. So this will go in my collection. I haven't really looked through it, but if you want a cute Easter basket cake. So I thought that was too adorable for words. And then we have All the Forgivenesses by Elizabeth Herdinger. I haven't taken the stickers off. I'm going to have to get my scraper to get those off. But this one is a rural farm in Kentucky. Her mom dies. She has to take care of the family, taking place in the early 1900s. So that one just sounded good. And I actually, paid $8 for it. And that is very unlike me. But it sounded good enough that I was like, And then we have Ma'am Darling, 99 Glimpses of Princess Margaret for $3. And it is a glorious UK like sturdy UK paperback. So Princess Margaret was a hot mess, so I'm looking forward to that. I think I've Elizabeth myself out right before she even got sick. I had read a couple, and then right after she died, and then it's like, okay, I know everything. I'm good. I mean, I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything, but I'm just saying, I think if you've read 3 to 4, you're good. You don't have to read every single one. And then we have Remembering Old Charleston, a peek behind parlor doors. Just a little tiny. I paid $3 for this one. Different stories about the beginnings of Charleston, or I should say the first families. You know, the hoity-toits. And Charleston is my most favorite city in the entire world. I say that like I'm a world traveler, but it's just somewhere that I can think of and go, and it's just familiar. It's comfort. It's amazing. And Charleston, South Carolina, not Charleston, West Virginia. I've never been to Charleston, West Virginia, but I'm sure it's very charming. And then we have special recipes from the Charleston Cake Lady. I had just found like a southern section, apparently. Teresa Pregnall. So just cake recipes. I thought this was relatively new, but it's like 20 years old. So we have that. That was the extent of what I actually like purchased, browsed. I mean, I browsed for the others, but they were a lot of cover. Like this is specifically what I'm going for. These two, very timely, but very sad. I have them already. Of course I have them already, but I have paperbacks, and one of them is so thick. I think it's like 1,400 pages. There's no possible way to read the paperback. So for $1 a piece, we have Homeland by John Jakes, which I just this morning found that he passed away at 90. So pretty prolific life. Have I read everything of his? No, but I do actually have some of his like fantasy, sci-fi ones that he wrote, the little like popular 60s little kind of, I want to say smutty, but not, man smutty, what they like to read. So I have a couple of those, but I figured, hey, get the hardbacks of these and have them for your collection when you are ready to read. It's like I haven't even finished the North and South trilogy. I haven't finished the Americans. So that will be a project for another time. And then On Secret Service. So the good thing about these two is they aren't part of a series. They're just standalones. But for $1, I picked them up. And poor guy. I say poor guy. He was 90. Pretty sure he was okay. And then we have some are pretty beat up, but I'm actually impressed. Some of them still have dust jackets for as old as they are. But again, cover buys, the fact that they were vintage, the fact that they were actually something that I would read, not just, hey, they're pretty on a shelf. So we have Panama Passage by Donald Barr Chidsey. Chidsey. Sounds so old money. But here's the thing. I am going to take it out of the dust jacket because this one's pretty worse over. And it's Doubleday. It's not like it's, first edition rare, whatever. We all know Doubleday's kind of throwaway. But several of these old ones have book plates in them. And it's M. Smith. We'll find out her full name is in a couple of them. But I was just like, oh, and she has different book plates that she's put in. So this one says, I enjoy sharing my books as I do my friends, asking only that you treat them well and see them safely home. So M. Smith, 4/13 of 1966. So I have Mary's, several of Mary's, I say Mary, I'm pretty sure that's what her name is, books for my collection. So Mary lives on in my home. I just think that just tickles me. But there are, the Panama Canal Zone, like the map in the book. But this one's kind of husband and wife, the pampered wife, they moved to Panama while, the canal is being built, and she's just, this is beneath me. And how those 40s and 50s novels were, dramatic. So there's that. And then we have After the Glory by Helen Topping Miller. And this one still had the dust jacket. I don't think it's terribly old, but this one is Tennessee, and 3 brothers, 2 of which go off to serve in the Confederacy. One breaks off and joins the Union. And after the war, the son that went off to fight for the Union came home to help the family because, we all know the South did not rise again, and they were pretty crap off, and they were just like, we don't want your help, you Union sympathizer. It's like, you carpetbagger. Dramatic. But I mean, it's little, it's short. And this one was apparently owned by a Miss Margaret Shackelford. So thank you, Margaret. Then we have Let Love Come Last by Taylor Caldwell. I have several of Taylor Caldwell's. He wrote Tobacco Road. I have it. It's hard to see. No Dust Jacket. This one is Scrivener. This one was M. Smith as well. May of 1966. I do not know what it's about, but it is. Taylor Caldwell was a Southern writer. I'll get to the old books late. I have more old books, but these are newer. Just how I pulled them out of the stack. So I have Good Hope Road by Lisa Wingate. I did read before We Were Yours. It was fine. So it's like for $1, I'll try her again. Okay for Now by Gary D. Schmidt. Apparently, it was a National Book Award finalist. This one is a middle grade or young adult. So I could technically read this one for this month to do another middle grade. But it takes place in the summer of 1968 when the Apollo space missions are underway. Baseball, Vietnam, blah, blah, blah. On kind of a coming-of-age young boy. Then we have Leaving Time by Jodi Picoult. I've heard people call her Pico. I don't know. Jodi P. I have not read one of her books in probably 10 years. It's been a very long time. Just because they're so heavy and so depressing. So for $1, I was like, okay, I don't have this one. I don't even think I have an ebook copy. So we'll give it a go whenever I feel like being sad, which no. And then If We Were Here by Jen Lancaster. This one's pretty gross, pretty beat up. I may be able to clean it up. I have read all but I think 2 of her nonfiction. And I really liked her when she started out, but she just started kind of, for me, being, okay, I get it, like, fine, So I haven't read any of her fiction. That one is fiction, so we'll give it a try. And then I have a couple more newer ones. And then I'll go back to the old. So Little by Edward Carey. This one is kind of, I think, a gothic. And it's born in 1761, a diminutive. I'm saying that it's a little person. They nickname her Little, and she's an orphan, and she works for an anatomist, and her role is, she was first a servant, and then she moves to companion and helps him model bodies and body parts and teeth and things from wax. So that sounded really, really interesting. This one is also a lovely British, and it has like illustrations throughout. That one's kind of creepy. Let's see if we can, yeah. And then we have The King's Grace by Anne Easter Smith. This one is Grace Plantagenet. Don't ask me to say that again. I haven't read a book of that type in a while. So again, it was like $1. If I don't like it, put it in a little free library. I have no problem with that. Then we have The Paris Library, no dust jacket, but it's relatively, I think it came out 2 years ago. I haven't read it, so I was like, yes, please. And you may see Molly come up here being nosy. And then we have Clover. I'm wanting to say that these were like maybe in a school, and because they had several copies of it. So it was part of, like, we'll say English class. So this one is set in, I want to say 50s, South Carolina. Her father dies and she's left to be raised by her white stepmother, and just, you know, how difficult that was for her and the adjustment. Lilac Girls by Martha Hall Kelly, same author as Sunflower Sisters. I have read this. I read this summers and summers and summers ago when it first came out, and I loved it. So I didn't have a copy. I borrowed it from the library, so now I do have a copy for a whole $1. And then The Well and the Mind by Jen Phillips. This one is 1931 small Alabama coal mining town. So Southern, I love Southern fiction. Am I Southern? Yes. But it's just something I have enjoyed since I was a child. Then we have The Southerners by Edna Lee. Let's see if this was M. Smith's. Oh, her name was Margaret Jane Smith. August of 1966. I am assuming that she did write her dates that she read them. Or it could be acquired. I don't know Margaret. I'm sure she may not be with us any longer, but hi, Molly. This one I'm not sure what it's about again. Me and my old hardbacks. We have 40 Years of American Life by Thomas Nichols. I picked it up because it said W.E. Mercer, M.D., Wibberville, Michigan, April 11th, 1938. Sometimes I buy for the inscriptions. Is that crazy? This one actually, I looked it up. I was like, I don't know what that is. And it was like $40. I was like, no, I'll sell it for $40. Because will I ever read it? I don't know. Carter Brown, The Burden of Guilt. Do I want to do this in case YouTube pulls it? Another one of the 50s men, The Naked Corpse of a Call Girl by a Pool. I think my husband picked that one up. I don't remember. Either I saw it and then he saw it. Something happened. And then we'll go with this one. This is going to be a long video, because it's a book haul. Imagine that. The Mystery of the Painted Nude. I love the color of this. I would never in my life be able to pull off wearing something this color. I don't have the shade for it, but I love it. So I pulled it up. Is it Margaret? It's not Margaret's. I didn't go through and tell the dates on some of these. Those two were the 30s. This one, 1938. So it's art, obviously, The Painted Nude. 1937, 1938, first edition. So, the thing I get annoyed about is she has these vintage books that she has marked through. Evil. And then we have, I'll have to open this, Her Majesty. Her Majesty Elizabeth of Austria-Hungary, the beautiful, tragic empress of Europe's most brilliant court. By Marie-Louise, Countess Larisch von Wallersee. I'm using the W's. It would be Marie-Louise, Countess it's been a long time for German, so give me a second. Larisch von Wallersee-Wittelsbach. Wallersee-Wittelsbach. My last German course was in 1999. So, and teaching someone from the South German is an experience. Granted, German is an easier language to learn, but it's hilarious with the inflection, and trust me, I had the course with someone who had the thickest Southern accent, and it was hilarious because he would have been like Wallersee Wittelsbach. No. Anyways. So this one was 1934. First edition. It's very hard to make it out here. And I'm saving one for last. It was the one I was most excited for. Still have more. Fair Stood the Wind for France by H.E. Bates. This one was Margaret's. And don't do that. Don't do that. So this one is 1944. Bound in the USA by Kingsport Press in Kingsport, Tennessee. I am like 45 minutes from Kingsport, Tennessee. So, yep, first edition. And this one is after Nazi Germany. I mean, the author was in the war. Susan Cornish by Rebecca Caudle. That's a very Queen Elizabeth, like young when she was princess hairstyle. I mean, it was the style of that time period. This one was 1955, the year my mother was born. I just thought that was cute. And author on the back. I liked these. Like, hey, you had it all in the back. And this was also Mrs. Smith's, May 8th, 1966. So she may have been a lot like me, because seeing as how this came in, well, I'll say that. Yeah, 11 years after it was published did she either acquire or purchase. So she was also an enjoyer of older books. Teacher in a one-room school in a small neglected southern community. And then we have, this one was cute. The Curly Tops on Star Island by Howard R. Garris. This was from a library I remember getting as a kid. I still have, I think it's Louisa May Alcott. Roses. Did she write a book, something with roses in the title? I have it, and it was from my library from my elementary school that had opened in like the 20s or the 30s, and it had this on it. I still have it in my living room. So this one was, only one person checked out the Curly Tops. Rude. It was 1918. So I'm holding an over 100-year-old book, but it was just adorable. And it made me, when I looked through it, it made me think of Pug. There was I think it was from the 60s, either the 60s or the 70s. Our reading book in first grade was called Pug. I have a copy of Pug somewhere. And my dad is the one that spent many hours teaching me how to read. And he hated Pug with a passion. And I know he hated me because I was so frustrating to try to teach. But it's the most precious gift that anyone could have given to me. So I thank him for that tremendously. But yes, 1918. Cute. Oh, by that, I'm going to try to be quick because I'm almost at 30 minutes. And nobody's watching 30 minutes. Sorry, guys. Mother, make Ted stop. I'm not doing anything at all, Mother. Yes, he is too. Please call him in. He's hurting my doll. That was the staccato how I was taught to read. See Pug run. Run, Pug, run. Mom, see Pug. See Pug go. Go, Pug, go. Yeah, because you see how teaching a child Pug would make you want to run and scream? This one is all crinkled up. The Gabriel Horn by Felix Holt. But someone did put a crinkle cover on it. It was 1951. Kentucky Wilderness. So apparently somebody liked their Kentucky books. Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. And this was also Margaret's. And it is, this is one with Roman numerals that I don't decipher. It is It is a first edition, but I'm going to tell you it's not worth anything. It's like, I could sell it for like $20, but it's not the same printer that is widely wanted. And we have Agatha Christie, an autobiography. This one is a yucky, beat-up dust jacket. It is a first edition, but it's a book club edition, so we all know how that happens. But I haven't read it, and I know she went would she go cuckoo and went missing or something? The Living Reed by Pearl S. Buck. And this one was also Margaret's. This one says, "Ah, yet, ere I descend to the grave, may I a small house and large garden have, and a few friends and many books, both true, both wise, and both delightful too." So I just loved all of her. Did I partially buy this because it was hers? Yes, but I just love that it was the printing, and Korea. Guys, I love my Asian. And this was one of the first ones that I found. Ben-Hur. Have I seen Ben-Hur? No. Have I read Ben-Hur? No. Ben-Hur. What grabbed my attention was that, yes, it was old, but it had something sticking out of it. And what do you know? It's a card with a cat on it. And it says, "If I had my way, I'd take you to the finest restaurant for your birthday. But realistically, the best I can provide is the dead bird." And something, DC visit comes soon. But we have the Ben-Hur end papers. And this is to Lovey E. Enisman, I don't know, with best wishes of his friend J.J. Fisher, 4/26/1916. And this one was printed in 1908. I know this Ben-Hur is, I looked it up, it's like $40 is what it sells for, but I would not, just because it's an inscription and it's lovely. It's old, it's lovely. I mean, if anybody absolutely loves Ben-Hur and it's like their favorite book, then I would consider giving it away as a gift. But I just loved it. But that's my old book haul. Yes, old books. So I'm going to have to maybe you can't see it, one of my shelves here, take off, probably on the other side, one of the shelves and put the old ones on it and then put my new ones somewhere else. My husband did mention that he was maybe going to buy a bookshelf, or make a bookshelf for me. So we'll see. I definitely need it because there are still books piled over there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all these, but I was excited because they were $1 and cheap joy. I mean, I could have gone and bought a purse. I say a purse, like a tote bag for this much, or we could have gone out and grabbed dinner. But you know what? What's going to make me happier? It is truly. I'm going to try my best. I'm waiting for my sister, so I don't think I'm going to read anything today unless I go and sit on the couch until she gets here. I'm going to make us some snacks. Not a full-blown charcuterie board, but excuse me, a charcuterie board makes people mad. So just a charcuterie. Redundancies. I have some dips. And I have a pot roast in the crock pot for us to have for dinner. I made some deviled eggs, which people like. It's not a holiday. You don't need a holiday. Deviled eggs are forever. So we'll have pot roast. We'll have deviled eggs. I have some broccoli slaw. We haven't had that in forever. I told her I would make some skillet fried potatoes because she was like, I haven't had those since mom's. I was like, I have perfected it. The secret is to boil your potatoes, peel them, cut them, boil them for 5 minutes. As soon as you take them off the stove, put your skillet on the stove, turn it to medium heat, go ahead and pour your oil in, and by the time you have drained your potatoes, Shake them to get the excess water off. Your oil will be hot. Immediately dump them in and do not touch them. Do not touch them for like 10 or so minutes. And then you can start to flip them over to get them brown. So it will take, it honestly takes a good 25 to 30 minutes. Even though you're pre-cooking them, it takes a little bit to get them, but crispy, delicious, golden. And the best thing, if you are not using it, it's not a Southern thing. I mean, I know a lot of Southern cooks. I grew up with it, like my family using it. But Morton's Nature's Seasoning. It's got like paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, parsley, blah, 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 like it's good for all purpose, like everything. And then you can add to, if you wanted to add a little extra garlic, a little extra onion powder. But I'm telling you, she's excited. She's like, I haven't had pot roast in forever. I haven't had fried potatoes in forever. So I'm going to at least have us a good meal with the pot roast being in the crock pot so that it's cooking if we happen to go out and about. I'm not having to be like, we have to be back at this certain time so I can put the pot roast in the oven. Preferred method, honestly, I prefer to have it in the oven, but time saver, crock pot. So we'll snack. We'll maybe go out. We were thinking about going to Yoder's, which is an Amish store, to get some, fun things. Pickles. I want to get a big pound of, maybe 2, of Amish butter, and just whatever else. Birch beer. I always get their diet birch beer, which is a better root beer. It's mood. When you go to Yoder's, you let the Yoder's tell you what you want. Just bulk items. And they do have a local place. They're, I think, based out of Greenville, Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. Dutch Made Pies. If you were ever in East Tennessee, Upper East Tennessee, and you find somewhere a Dutch Made fried pie, it's homemade. It's the best fried pie you will ever have. It's like this big, this thick, full of filling, and it's the best glaze. It's not just a little light glaze. It's thick and crispy. So we might just go to Yoder's and TJ Maxx. We generally go to TJ Maxx when she comes up to visit. So we like our home goods and we like to sniff candles. So what can I say? But that's the excitement. Lots of books, but not a lot of reading. I have a almost 38-minute video that nobody's going to watch. I say nobody's going to watch. Somebody will. If you did, I love you. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know if you've bought. Have you bought anything? Even ebooks. If you borrowed anything. Library books, ebooks, Kindle Unlimited. I kind of think maybe I'm getting into Kindle Unlimited. There are so many that I have on my wish list, or, that I borrowed. I can't borrow anymore. And I'm like, I blame Book Talk. Most of Book Talk is not my thing, but occasionally somebody will come through and talk something up. And I have several my friend has told me about from Kindle Unlimited. So maybe a Kindle Unlimited girl. I'm still on another free trial, so we'll see if I decide to keep it. But trust me, I have books lined up, things that I want to read, but it's just getting the old brain to work. I think I got the heaviest of the workload for work done the first 2 weeks, getting some loose ends tied up, and then the rest of the month is just some meetings, extra things, not like oh, go up above and beyond and be like the greatest brown noser. No, just to have extra, just as backup. Or I mean, it does look good, but just busy work, if that would compare it to school. So enough. Long video. I'm gonna go in and start our snacks because I'm sure I don't have my watch on. I'm sure my sister is on the way. But I hope you guys have a good weekend, are reading some good books. Again, let me know what you are consuming, and I will talk to you later. See ya.